back to the news at 10. Let's cross over to Abuja now. Here's Linda Akigbe. Linda.
Hello, Ijoma.
Hey.
Welcome to Abuja, where there has been another clash between the police and the Shiite protesters in Wuse and Bega areas of the nation's capital. According to the Secretary of the Academic Forum for the Islamic Movement of Nigeria, Abdullahi Mohammed Musa, the clash occurred as they were protesting the refusal of government to release their leader, Sheikh El-Zakzaky, who has been in detention since 2015. The group says they were denied access to the National Human Rights Commission, where they plan to table their grievances over the detention of their leader and the refusal of the police to grant them access to the Unity Fountain, where they hold their protest. They also deny any acts of vandalism and obstruction of roads, stating that the attack on the police with stones yesterday was to find a way out of what they called the police ambush.
We went to Wuse Market. We started the protest from Wuse to Bega. The police, on arrival, they started shooting tear gas. We managed to kick up. They follow us until we reach Bega, throwing tear gas from behind. We have to throw it back in order to rescue the sisters. Police now order for reinforcement. They follow us till Bega and they arrested so many. They dispersed us at Bega Junction and they arrested so many people. We were beaten. Even myself, I was beaten. Tomorrow we'll be on the streets because we want our leader free. We want him free. And killing, arresting, all this harassment will never stop. There was a day on Wednesday, they called that the CP said I should come and discuss with him. And I feel it's a threat because they have been trying to arrest me in so many places. And I told them, okay, later after the protest.
Meanwhile, the police in the Federal Capital Territory have accused the members of the Islamic movement in Nigeria of instigating violence during their protest. According to the FCT Police Public Relations Officer, Angujuri Manza, catapults, iron bars, stones, ball bearings and pink headbands were recovered from the protesters. He confirmed the arrest of 115 members of the group, adding that investigations have commenced while order has been restored to parts of the capital city affected by the violent protests. Meanwhile, human rights group Amnesty International has described the crackdown on the protesting members of the Islamic movement in Nigeria by the police as reckless. In a statement, the director, Amnesty International Nigeria, Osai Ojigo, condemns the police action and calls on the authorities to adhere to the rule of law and respect the right to peaceful protest. It adds, and I quote, "This was a needless resort to violence by Nigerian police against a group of unarmed protesters. The IMN members gathered in Abuja were perfectly within their rights in demanding the release of their leader from a detention described by a federal court as both unlawful and unconstitutional," end of quote. Although it admits that some protesters hold stones at the security operatives, it says that it is not an excuse for the use of live bullets, water cannon and tear gas by the police. And to the National Assembly, the House of Representatives is to investigate public complaints of overbilling by the electricity distribution companies, DISCOs. The House is also worried about the refusal of the DISCOs to provide meters for consumers who have indicated interest. Our correspondent Terry Ikumi reports.
Estimated billing refers to an estimated cost of electricity consumed monthly by an electricity consumer in each household or business. Many Nigerians, however, consider this method of billing as extortion, since there is no clear indicator to show how the estimates are arrived at.
I'm going to be very hard with my choice of words.
This is the reason for this bill sponsored by the leader of the House, Representative Femi Gbajabiamila.
It is a bill to bring to a screeching halt, Mr. Speaker, the biggest economic ripoff and the biggest scam in modern-day Nigerian economy history.
The proposed legislation has consequential orders criminalizing the estimated billing method, and from the submissions of the lawmakers, it is quite clear how much they support the bill.
As I speak, Mr. Speaker, I come from a place that has been taken out of the national grid by Benin electricity distribution company for the past 2 years.
In the local areas, they have gone beyond this estimated distance, and they are joining communities together to the extent that people fought and they went to police stations.
There is, however, an area of concern, according to this lawmaker, to achieve an efficient metering system.
If you want this bill, you have to come with a bill that will reduce the unit cost. But if you never reduce this unit cost for now, our people will suffer too much.
And if the allegation
The Speaker of the House shares his thoughts and puts the matter to vote.
I think we may want to tax our legislative brains to see how we can provide the enabling environment for Nigerian undertakings to start producing these meters. Bills referred to Committee on Power.
The amendment bill recommends imprisonment of 6 months for offences such as illegal disconnection, refusal of the disco to connect a customer after application, unmetering within 30 days of a customer applying for a prepaid meter, and issuance of estimated billing. Terry Ikumi, Channels Television News.
And that's all from Abuja. Back to you, Ijeoma.
All right, thanks a lot, Linda. President Muhammadu Buhari has appointed a senior advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Festus Keyamo, as the Director of Strategic Communication for his 2019 presidential campaign. In the letter signed and released by the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, who is also the Director General of the campaign organization, Mr. Keyamo will be the official spokesman of the campaign. The senior lawyer has, however, reacted and confirmed receiving the letter, but added that he will be making a formal statement on the matter later. The appointment is coming a week after the president declared his intention to seek another term in office. And residents and commuters around the 7-Up and Ikosi-Ketu axis of Lagos are yet again experiencing poor visibility and pollution as a result of the Olusosun dump fire. The fire, which broke out about a month ago, seemed to have died down 2 weeks after, but it suddenly came to life around noon today to the dismay of those around. The Lagos State government has shut down the site following the outbreak, citing health and environmental hazards for its decision. The fire has been blamed on trapped gases from the waste, with goods and property said to be worth millions of naira destroyed. The Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has bagged the prestigious Zik Award for Good Governance for the year 2018. The event, which attracted key players from across all political divides, also had elder statesman Chief Bisi Akonde on the list of awardees. The annual award ceremony is a platform to promote the political ideals of Nigeria's first indigenous president, Nnamdi Azikiwe.
It looks like an evening of warm embraces and exchange of pleasantries, as politicians in opposing camps seem to set aside partisan differences for a moment at the Zik Awards ceremony 2017. Amidst an array of distinguished guests assembled, it's a rare sight to have the national chairman of the two major political parties on the same platform, as elder statesman Bisi Akonde gets honored. Then, the stage is set for the ensuing drama, with what some may say is an expensive joke by the national chairman of the PDP.
All the politicians are here on stage. This may be likened to a transmission that is forthcoming. We present to you the special award of leadership.
For the governor of Rivers State, who is also honored with the award for good governance, it's all about service to the people.
Thank you very much. Talk about unity of Nigeria. Talk about commitment to service of fatherland. And so for me, this award is, look, you have not started. We continue to serve the state and the nation with all your capacity, with all your ability. So that's what I think that this award signifies to me. Just don't go and say, oh, you have been given an award, I can now relax. No, it is further challenge that, look, more is expected from you.
Sometimes it is difficult to separate political and personal differences, but patriotism and the responsibilities of leadership, as exemplified by the Zik Awards, should remain the focus of leaders and followers alike. Emmanuel Irei, Channels Television News.
All right, let's take a look at some business news. Here's Kayode Okikiolu.
You first. First Bank.
Thank you, Ijema, and welcome to Business News. Now, world economy continues to show broad-based momentum, and that's according to the International Monetary Fund, IMF. In its Global Economic Outlook released today in Washington, D.C., the IMF says the prospect of a broad-based conflict over trade presents an ugly picture. A business correspondent Chimezie Obiwagu reports.
Day 2 of the IMF and World Bank spring meetings and deliberations are in top gear as delegates from all over the world rub minds as to how to move the global economy forward. The deliberations started with the release of the World Economic Outlook. 2018 growth projections for the largest economies such as the Euro area, Japan, China and the United States recorded some uptake from an earlier projections in October 2017.
That forecast is being borne out by continuing strong performance in the Euro area, in Japan and China, and in the United States, all of which grew above expectations last year. We also project near-term improvements for several other emerging market and developing economies, including some recovery in commodity exporters.
The report noted that many commodity exporters will not be lucky, despite some improvement in the outlook of commodity prices, and says those countries will need to diversify their economies to boost future growth and resilience.
Governments need to rise to the challenge of strengthening growth, spreading its benefits more widely, broadening economic opportunity through investments in people, and increasing workers' sense of security in the face of impending technological changes that could radically transform the nature of work. Fights over trade just distract from this vital agenda rather than advancing it.
And how will the spillover of this trade war affect sub-Saharan Africa? The report, however, noted some of the risks to the outlook, which include the escalating trade tensions.
In terms of the spillovers from the trade war, it's still too early to assess this. The measures that are being talked about at the moment, our sense is that the direct impact on the directly affected countries is likely to be quite limited, but of course there's an issue of how financial markets react to this, the sentiment in financial markets, and to the extent that frontier economies, other economies in sub-Saharan African region are affected by the changes in financial markets, that could be a challenge for which these economies are affected by the developments that we're seeing on the trade front.
More clarity on this will be made in the Global Financial Stability Report that will be released on Wednesday. Chimezie Obiwagu, Channels Television News.
Thank you, Chimezie. Now the equity market closes bullish, gaining 63 basis points on the impact of medium and large capitalized stocks. Bisi Adebayo has more on the transactions.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. The Nigerian equities market swung back to winning ways on Tuesday, with the all-share index 0.63% higher at 40,788.68. The banking sector stocks are thriving, especially that of FCMB and UBA. The industrial goods sector is also doing good, with Lafarge Wapco making an impact. On the gainers list, Unity Bank takes the lead with 9.48%. Owando is still enjoying heavy patronage from investors. On the other hand, Fitson, CNI Leasing and Age 11ties were among the top losers. The market is expected to take a cue from Q1 earnings, which are already trickling into the markets. That's it on the stock market report. I am BC Adebayo.
Thank you, BC. And first quarter earnings are shaping equity markets all over the world as exchanges react positively to reports. Now, here are major figures from some of the markets we track. And that's business news for tonight. Many thanks for watching. I am Kayode Okikiolu. It's now back to Keyamo.
You first. First Bank.
Thanks a lot, Kayode. Still ahead on the news at 10, Nigeria champions Plateau United crash out of this year's CAF Confederation Cup after 4-0 loss to the USM Algiers of Algeria in the second leg of the final qualifying round. That's on Sports News. Please stay with us.